Now, this is a special sutta taught by the Buddha to a layman, to one of his relatives called Mahānāma, as the 15.3 Chakka Mahānama Sutta. Chakka means a set of six. That's that, I think. That's that set of six. Mahānāma is the name of the listener. Sutta means teaching or thread. The sixth discourse to Mahānāma, A 6.10. It is also called Agata Phala Mahānāma Sutta. The Mahānāma Discourse on the fruition-attainer, how to improve your progress. For us who are not yet stream winners, this is a kind of teaching on the six recollections. This sutta is very instructive and helpful because it tells us how does a stream winner feel or think or practice. What does a stream winner do, in other words? And the Buddha explains this in terms of six kinds of practices and how this affects or raises the quality of life of the stream winner. And we can, by following this example, bring our life to happiness also and closer to the path in this lifetime itself. Now, we should never doubt that we can't awaken. Now, we are human beings. We're not animals. We are not pretas. We're not asuras. And that is itself a very great attainment, being a human. And we know the Dharma. That's even more wonderful. And even if we do not get to the path in this life, at the last moment, when we take our last breath and leave this body, that mind will switch to the path. If we keep on reflecting on the teachings, especially the teachings of impermanence, this is the practice. Okay, so it's a choice whether we want to do this or not. All right. Now, when we talk about reflections, we have a reflection of the unawakened person, like you and I. So we follow the teachings, we listen to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and so on, and then we reflect on those things. On the other hand, if someone has already attained certain levels, like stream winning and so on, and the arahats especially, they already have certain level of knowledge, and they're able to know things. For example, the arahat can recall past lives. So he looks back and then he recalls, he sees how people who do bad things and bad karma follow them, and so on. In this case, we also can use our knowledge and understanding to reflect. For example, in our work life, we see that if you are dishonest, there are negative results and we have to pay for it. You read the news and you see all these people who are doing very fine, and then they make this very stupid blunder because of greed, and then they lose all the good things they have done. Right? So you see this pattern very clearly, and you tell yourself it's not worth it. It's not worth it to do something bad. Okay, so this is also a kind of reflection. It's a kind of forethought also. You think carefully before you act. So this is it has to do with right action also. So you see all the teachings are interconnected in this way. Right? So let's look at all this teaching, the six reflections, starting on page 82. Remember, don't forget to get the latest version, which just posted on the website a while ago. If you can't do it now, do it just after the study. Right, Chakka Mahānāma Sutta. Now remember, Chakka has a H there, cha, pronounced as cha. Without the H, it is cha, chakka. Chakka means wheel. This is chakka, chakka. So there is this plosive, this burst of air, cha. The other one is cha, very light cha. Okay, whereas the other one is cha. There's a burst of air through the mouth, through the lips. Now, first of all, the Buddha, you have this Mahānāma asking the Buddha a question about practice, and the Buddha replies by telling him about the 4 aspects or 4 limbs of a stream winner. Section 1. At one time, the Blessed One was staying in Nigroda's park at Kapilavatthu. Okay, so here the Buddha is back in his hometown near Nepal, with the Nepal border. And here Nigroda is not, it means banyan, but it's not a banyan park. It is the name of a person. This park belongs to someone called Nigroda. Then Mahānāma the Sakya, now he is one of those laymen one of the Sakyas who remained behind, who did not become a monk. Many of the Sakyas became monks, so he is one of those from the normal royal family who stayed on as a layman to run the family affairs. Then Mahānāma the Sakya approached the Blessed One, saluted him, and sat down at one side. Siddhartha at one side, he said this to the Blessed One. Bhante, how does a noble disciple continuously dwell when he has attained the fruit and understood the teaching? Now you find Mahānāma has got many suttas to his name, and he often asks the Buddha all kinds of questions. Right? For example, he asks, he says, how come I'm a stream winner? I still have all these desires and feelings, you know? Right? And the Buddha says, well, you have not attained jhana, that's why, you see? So, and so on. So there are many such questions related to layman and stream winning. So it's very interesting to read about him. Here, he asked the Buddha, what should the stream winner practice? The Buddha replies, Mahānāma, when a noble disciple has attained the fruit, here meaning attained the path, attained the fruit of stream winning, and understood the teaching, he continuously dwells in this way. Continuous dwell, that means go on practicing. This is the regular practice. Okay, here you see with the brackets 1 to 6. Okay, now the first teaching basically is about faith in the Buddha. So this is how early Buddhism talks about faith, not blind faith, but wisdom-based faith. Now, basically, this is the reflection on Itipiso Bhagava. Okay, we often recite this, but we do not know the meaning. So it's good to spend time looking at the words and then understanding the meaning. So when you hear the word, the meaning comes up in your mind. Then because of the knowledge, joy arises, peace arises. This is what we are doing now. When we learn this, as we understand the meaning, the joy arises. Okay. All right. So here the Buddha says, here Mahānāma, a noble disciple, recollects the Tathagata. Tathagata, the Buddha, right? In Chinese, Rulai. Okay. This is Tathagata. The Buddha does come. This is I have anglicized this. It's a term the Buddha used for himself as a Buddha, not as a person, but as teacher, as Buddha. Thus, okay. So now in inverted commas is a quote. So this is the Itipiso Gata. The Blessed One is such. He is Arahat, Arahang. Okay. And then Sammasambuddho. All right. So it's just a minor typo there. It should be a comma instead of a dot. Yeah? Right. It doesn't really matter. Okay. And then accomplish in wisdom and conduct, Vijacharana Sampanno, welfarer, Sugato, knower of worlds, Lokavidu, fearless guide of persons to be tamed, Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati. And then teachers of gods and humans, Tatariva Manusanam, awakened Buddho, blessed Bhagava. We'll come to that later. Let me explain each of these 9 qualities of the Buddha. They're called 9 qualities, Navarahaguna, of the Buddha. The Buddha, we respect the Buddha because he is an Arahat. Notice here, first quality is Arahat, just like any other Arahat. He's the first Arahat, someone who's attained awakening, and is because he has overcome all the negative qualities, all the defilements, so it's Arahat. Anyone can attain that if they practice the Buddha's teaching. That's Arahat. Fully self-awakened one, Sama Sambuddha. Okay, this is what makes him different from others. He's fully self-awakened, so his knowledge is vast. Of all the awakened beings, of all the beings on the path, the Buddha has got this vast knowledge and wisdom. Accomplished in wisdom and conduct. Okay, wisdom, conduct, knowledge, action. What he knows, he practices. What he practices, he knows. Theory, practice go together. Okay, so here notice Vijja is knowledge, Charana is conduct. So he's not just a talker, he's also a doer. Sampanno means he has attained, he's accomplished in that level, in those qualities, right? I'm giving a very simplified explanation. You start from there, then you can go on into the deeper meaning in the commentaries. He is a well-farer, su, well, gato, farer, well gone. Here we can interpret in different ways. One is wherever he goes, he brings happiness, or wherever he goes, he's happy. All right. And then knower of worlds, loka vidu. The usual interpretation is that he knows all the 3 worlds, the sense world, the world of senses of which we are part, the form world of the gods who are pure radiance, and the formless world, the gods who are pure energy. But if you follow the sutta, the Buddha is called knower of worlds because he knows what is meant by the word world. What is the world that is everything? And that is the world of the senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And the Buddha says, beyond this, there is nothing more. This is the world, the 6 senses. Wherever we go, either the 6 senses, in the case of our world, or some of these senses, definitely the last one, the mind, will exist. Right? So he explained this in detail through the 5 aggregates, for example, the 5 aggregates. So he knows the world in a very complex way, not just by cosmology, but also by way of psychology, and also by way of knowledge or epistemology, right? Next, peerless, incomparable. Peerless means incomparable, without peer. Guide of persons to be tamed. For those who are ready, the Buddha is able to bring them to the level of the awakening or the path. Anuttaro. No one beyond. Uttaro means above, beyond. Anuttaro. An means no. Purisa person, Dhamma. Not Dhamma. Not here. It's not H. There's no H here. It's Dhamma. Dhamma here is a participle to be those to be tamed. To be tamed. Not here. Person to be tamed. Sarati means kind of is a guide, a caravan guide. So he teaches both. He teaches people who are ready. He's a teacher. All right. Now, what kind of teacher is him? Let's go further down and look. Let's go down a bit more. All right, there you are. He's teacher of gods and humans. Sattva, Deva Manusanam. He teaches not only humans, but also the gods. Now, this is very interesting. I've proposed a very interesting idea, which got some people scratching their head. And then I told myself, Buddha is often depicted teaching the gods. And the gods are beyond our time and space. They are of a different dimension, a different part of outer space. Aren't there some kind of aliens then? So this is where don't be surprised in the future you meet aliens and they tell you that they know about the Buddha or I mean, you find that the way Buddhism is taught, any kind of beings or intelligent able to communicate with us in some way, they will be able to talk about the Dharma. Impermanence is a cosmic language, anicca, dukkha, anatta, all, I mean, they may not believe in a creator God. They'll say, oh, all these stories, but they'll find what the Buddha taught very real and practical. So in that sense, the Buddha is teacher of gods and humans. The Buddha is not only teacher of the people of earth, so to speak. So this is a bit of a futuristic interpretation. Okay? And very simply, the Buddha is awakened, Buddho, awakened. He has awakened from the sleep of ignorance. And to have him in our world is Bhagawa, blessed. Bhagawa also means he shares his wisdom and compassion with us. In that sense, it's blessed. Right? So the Mahānāma, when the noble disciple recollects the Tathagata Buddha, thus his mind is not obsessed by lust, not obsessed by hate, not obsessed by delusion. Great hate delusion, at least temporarily, is kind of stopped, right? So we're happy for that moment. This 2.2, it's called stop. It repeats itself, right? It's a kind of refrain. And also this last part also is a refrain. Refrain, that means like a what they call that? It repeats itself like in a song, chorus. Okay. Then so this refrain refers to what happens to the mind. So this is why in meditation, some teachers will recommend you, if you have difficulty in your meditation, to practice one of these recollections. At that time, in other words, when you practice this recollection, your mind is straight. Straight, that means your mind goes straight to the object, inspired by the Tathagata. Mahānāma, a noble disciple whose mind is straight, gains inspired knowledge in the goal. Here meaning attha, he understands the Dhamma better. So here he has this joyful knowledge. He gains inspired knowledge in the truth itself, in the Dharma itself, right? So here is the meaning, here's the truth, the purpose of the truth. And because of this understanding of the purpose and the meaning of the Dharma, joy, gladness comes to him. Gladness connected with the Dharma. And when there is this gladness, a very simple joy, zest, a bit more powerful joy is born. And when the mind is zestful, notice this is a gradual build up, okay? When the mind is zestful, the body is tranquil, the whole body, all the senses settle down. You are not distracted by the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body. If the body is tranquil, the five senses, the body of five senses is tranquil, at peace. And then with the tranquil body, there is happiness. The mind becomes still and happy. And when one is happy, the mind becomes concentrated. There you are. That's why we use this this reflection, this recollection. It helps us to focus. And then 2.4, this Mahānāma is called a noble disciple, right? There you are. This is a noble sangha, whether it's a monk, a nun, a layman, or laywoman who is on the path, is called a noble disciple, Arya Savaka. He dwells impartial, samapata. Sama, just like Malay word sama, balance, calm. Sama also can mean calm, balance. Among impartial or vicious people. Partial here means bias, people who have very negative emotions, right? So he's calm and balanced-minded and peaceful among those who are not. He dwells unafflicted, abhyapajja. Okay, vyapaja means afflicted, trouble. Here, unafflicted amongst afflicted people. Right? You find some people in trouble, have all kinds of worries and so on. But this person with this kind of mind is peaceful. And this kind of person, says the Buddha, is one who has entered upon the Dharma stream. So he is flowing in the Dharma stream as he cultivates the recollection of the Buddha, meaning he is flowing up the path of the stream towards nirvana. It refers to the Eightfold Path here as a flowing living stream, if you like. So it's an active kind of practice of Dharma. So this is the first reflection, faith in the Buddha. Now, number 2, faith in the Dharma, reflection in the Dharma, swakato, bhagavata dhammo. Furthermore, Mahānāma, the noble disciple, recollects the Dharma. Thus, well taught. Okay, well taught is underlined for you. Well taught, the Pali word here is swakato. Okay, is the true teaching, the Dharma of the Blessed One. Seen for oneself, sanditiko, immediate akaliko, inviting one to come and see, ehipasiko, accessible, opanayiko, to be personally known by the wise, pachattaṁ vedittabbo vinyuhi. All right, let's have a quick look at each of these words. The Dharma is well taught. Su, here su becomes wa in front of the vowel a. Agata means spoken by the Buddha, of course. Swakato, well taught. You find the suttas very nicely arranged, and the teachings are very beautiful. They're liberating. Even after 2,500 years, no one has proven these teachings to be wrong or false. And so the teaching is said to be well taught. The teaching is said to be sanditiko, seen for oneself. Okay, here this is one interpretation. San, here's sang meaning taken to mean self, seen by oneself. Dittika, ditti is to see, view, vision, right? Sanditiko, seen by oneself. Or we can interpret this as seen here and now. It is to be seen here and now, practicing what is before us. The sutta often say this, that, for example, Mara appears to this young monk and says, "Oh, why don't you enjoy life first? You know, you're still young and you're wasting your time being a monk." And then this monk replies, "Well, we're not wasting our time. We are, you know, practicing what is before us." Sanditiko, right? So in other words, here the teaching is right here before us. And when you see it, it is there, like the breath. You watch the breath, you see the breath, you see impermanence in it. You watch it, you see it. That's sanditiko. Inviting one to come and see. Ehi means come. Pasiko, to see, one who sees. Here you come, you look carefully, if you practice, if you are open and honest, and it's very important to be open and honest, you will see, right? So you find there are scholars who came and see, who are very serious in their pursuit of Buddhism, and they really write wonderful essays and give wonderful talks about the Dharma because of their wisdom and intelligence, and they look at the Dharma and they tell us about their understanding and experience because they are ehipasika. And this Dharma is not a secret teaching. It is accessible. You don't need to go through a guru. You don't need initiation. You don't need empowerment. These are all latest ideas for social control. You yourself can access these teachings. Opanayiko. You approach the Dharma yourself. There's no other way. You study it yourself. You learn it yourself. Like learning to walk. Nobody else can walk for you. You have to learn to walk by yourself. And even you fall, is part of the learning. And you will learn to walk. Whether you fall, how many times you fall, you will still learn to walk. That is meaning of accessible. And there are 2, 4, 6 virtues here. The last one is to be personally known by the wise. So you need some level of wisdom. In other words, not blindly believing, not simply listening to others, but watching things, watching patterns of things around you. So you personally notice all these things and you learn it. So in that sense, you know it for yourself. You become wise, right? So when you do this, 3.2, Mahānāma, says the Buddha, when the noble disciple recollects the Dhamma thus, his mind is not obsessed by lust, not obsessed by hate, not obsessed by delusion. And what is the benefit? Here comes a refrain. So let's quickly look at it so that we remember. At that time, his mind is straight. The mind goes straight to the object, easily focused. Why? Because the mind is inspired by the Dharma. Mahānāma, a noble disciple whose mind is straight. What is the benefit? Let's go down a bit more. Go down, please. Go down some more, please. Yeah, down, down. Yes. So here again, inspired knowledge, joyful knowledge in the goal, the purpose, inspired knowledge in the truth of the Dharma. And then joy arises in the Dharma. And with joy, there is zest, a more powerful joy. And then with zest, which is the senses and the whole body becomes peaceful. When the body is peaceful, the mind is happy and peaceful, and then the mind becomes concentrated. Right? So this is called the noble disciple, Arya Savaka. Okay, so there you are. So what I'm going to do is, because this is longer time we start off, I'm going to take a short break here and come back at 9 o'clock according to my clock. 5 minutes time. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Piya. We take a short break now.
See you.
Okay, if you are ready, please turn on your video so that we know you're present. Okay, please push the roll the screen up a bit. Number 3, faith in sangha. Yes, yeah, that's good. Thank you. A bit more. You can see the refrain at the bottom. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. Yeah. Okay, shall we go on?
Okay.
All right. Now let's look at the third recollection, faith in the sangha, recollection of the sangha. This is the noble sangha. Okay. So the Buddha tells Mahānāma, furthermore, Mahānāma, the noble disciple, recollects the sangha. Thus, the Blessed One's community of disciples keeps to the good way, supatipanno. Okay, so this is the last phrase here, supatipanno. Good. Su is good, patipanno, practice. Okay. The Blessed One's community of disciples keeps to the straight way, ujjupatipanno. The Blessed One's community of disciples keeps to the true way, nyaya patipanno. The Blessed One's community of disciples keeps to the proper way, samichi patipanno. Right. So Supatipanno here has to do with moral virtue. The monks, these are the noble disciples. Not only monks and nuns, but also the laymen, laywomen who have attained the path. They keep the precepts. So in that sense, it's supatipanno. And then ujjupatipanno, the practice. The mind goes straight to the object. The mind is calm and peaceful. And nyaya patipanno is the wisdom that they attain is in connection with the Eightfold Path. Whenever you see Nyaya, it's connected with the Eightfold Path. Then Samichi, whatever they do is proper. In other words, it's something that is suitable to help the world for others also. And their conduct also is good and compassionate and respectful to others. All right. These are the 4 pairs of persons. Okay, 4 pairs are 8 persons here. Here basically refers to the stream winner to be, stream winner become. Okay, it's just like undergraduate, graduate. So you have altogether the 4 persons, the 4 pairs, you got 8 individuals. This Blessed One's community of disciples is worthy of offerings, ahuneyo, worthy of hospitality, pahuneyo, worthy of gifts, dakineyo, worthy of salutation with the lotus palms, anjali karaneyo, an incomparable field of merit for the world, anuttarang punya ketang. All right, if you hear what the Buddha is saying, all those religious offerings people are making, it won't be so good. But if you give it to people who really doing good work, that would be these noble disciples. So this ahuneyo comes from the word ahuna. Ahuna refers to the sacrifices, technically the offerings given to all those like in the ritual. So here the Buddha says, instead of doing that, throwing food into the fire and so on, it's better to be offered to this kind of saints, this kind of noble disciples. Pahuneyo, so religious offerings and respect, hospitality, welcoming them, okay, should be shown to these noble disciples. Now, dakineyo comes from the word dakina. Dakina means the right or right hand, and that's the hand we give something. Even up to today, Asian culture has a special respect for the right hand. We shake hands with the right hand, for example. So here, dakineyo, that which is given with the right hand. Here, it specifically refers to a gift to the teacher. A gift you give to the teacher is called dakina. So dakineyo means this is a gift worthy to give to a teacher. Be given to these noble disciples. Anjali. Anjali is putting palms together. Karaniyo should be done, right? So it's good to put your palms together because this is we out of respect for them, that they are on the path. So we bow to that wonderful quality. And they also put the palms together because they're bowing to you, knowing that you can do it too. So it's a mutual thing in Buddhism. It's not a status thing. It's not like you bow to someone more powerful than you, and so it's not like that. It is a reminder that we can practice, that through practice we will attain the path. So Mahānāma, when a noble disciple recollects the sangha, thus the mind is not obsessed by lust, not obsessed by hate, not obsessed by delusion. So I will summarize the refrain. The mind goes straight, then there is this inspired knowledge arising in terms of the Dharma. You understand the purpose and the meaning of the Dharma, so you're very happy. And this, you are not distracted. So this joy grows and calms the body and mind and helps you to focus. All right, so that's how recollection helps. Okay, next one, further down. Let's go down next page, please. Further down. Yeah. Okay. Number 4, recollection of moral virtue. Okay, so these are extra practices. Okay. We can also do recollection of moral virtue. Like I said, today, we kept the 5 precepts, right? And we should remember it. Furthermore, Mahānāma, the noble disciple, recollects his own moral virtue as being unbroken, untorn, unmixed, spotless, liberating, praised by the wise, untarnished, giving rise to concentration, right? So here you are, notice this last phrase is the most important. The practice of moral virtue, keeping the precepts, help us to live a life which is disciplined so that we don't worry about our action, and our action will not come back to haunt us or trouble us, and it's easier to meditate because of that. Of course, we make mistakes occasionally. So this is where we use loving kindness and we say, I forgive myself. All those things are done because you didn't intentionally do it. You notice many of the things we did wrong, we reflect on it and we say, well, given a chance, we wouldn't do it. So in a sense, that's how Mara works on us. Mara makes us do things without mindfulness and so on. All right. So once we notice this, we say, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I don't think I will do that again. All right. So that helps to keep you at peace, and that helps you in your focus, giving rise to concentration. So this is how moral virtue overcomes greed, hate, delusion, or lust, hate, and delusion. And then the mind becomes straight. You get inspired knowledge in the Dhamma, which brings joy, and the joy strengthens body and mind, and then brings calmness, and you get mental concentration. And in this way, you can focus better. All right. So, and this noble disciple is a person who is at peace, although people around are not at peace. Okay, now let's go to brackets 5 now. Brackets 5. Yeah. Okay, this is number 5. Recollection of charity. We can recollect on the dana we have given to our teacher, to worthy causes, right? Furthermore, Mahānāma, the noble Bodhisattva, recollects his own charity. Thus, truly it is a gain for me, a true gain for me, that amongst people obsessed by the stain of avarice and selfishness, I dwell at home with a heart free from the stain of avarice, devoted to charity, open-handed, delighted in giving, devoted to giving, delighted to have a share in giving. Now, this last one is very special. Delighting to have a share in giving. So this is where the Buddha once told Anathapindika, if you give dana only by yourself, you'll be reborn as a rich person, but you may not have many friends. But if you practice dana and you also encourage others to give together with you, then you have friends also who are noble, who are virtuous. So this is the meaning. You delight to have a share. You share with others also when they give, and you have this share in fellowship in giving. So this is also reduces the burden in the person to give. Okay, so this is a reflection on giving. When we give, we feel joy, and this joy helps us in our meditation. It brings us peace and so on, in the same way as reflected in the refrain mentioned above, with inspired knowledge in the Dharma and so on. Okay, now we've gone to the number 6. That's the last one, bracket 6. Recollection on the deities or devas. This is something extra the Buddha gave for people who are new to Buddhism. And it's also practiced by the stream winners to something like endorse this practice so that other people will practice it too. Furthermore, Mahānāma, the noble disciple, cultivates the recollection of the deities or the devas. Here, Mahānāma, the noble disciple recollects the deities thus. There are devas of the heaven of the 4 great kings, Cittaṁ Maharajika. There are the devas of the heaven of Tavatimsa, that is heaven of the 33 devas. The devas of the heaven of Yama. There are the devas of the heaven of Tusita, the contented. This is the level of heaven where the future Buddha is living now. There are the devas of the heaven of Nimanarati, those who delight in creating. And then there are the devas of the heaven of Paranimitta Vasavati, those who lord over the creation of others. Now, this one is the highest of the sensual heaven, okay? And then there are the devas of the heaven of the Brahma hosts. Okay, this is the first jhana level, but here only the Brahmas hosts, the junior Brahmas are mentioned, Mahabrahma is not mentioned, because these are the devas who are more likely to be in touch with humans. And there are devas beyond this, okay? So only this basic list is mentioned to remind us that these devas attain their states because of moral virtue and other good quality. What are those good qualities? Let's go further down. Further down, please. Okay, there you are. There are 5 qualities. These are called the 5-fold noble growth. The 5-fold noble growth. Okay, faith, moral virtue, learning, charity, wisdom. This is what makes the devas special. All right. So here in early Buddhism, the devas present this kind of really good qualities. In other religions, you find some of these gods they really misbehave. They seem to like glorify some of the bad habits of humans, right? But not in Buddhism, it's the other way around. The gods are gods because of their moral behavior. The faith that those devas are endowed with, because of which when they pass away from this world, they were reborn there. That kind of faith is found in me too. So the meaning here is that if I practice this way as a stream winner, I'll be reborn in the higher world. I may be reborn in the higher world. If I'm reborn as a human being, I'll be reborn in a good situation where I can practice the Dharma. Right. Then secondly, these devas also have moral virtue. The moral virtue that these devas are endowed with, because of which when they pass away from this world, they were reborn there. That kind of moral virtue is found in me too. Right? So the moral virtue of the devas are found in me too. The learning that those devas are endowed with, because of which when they pass away from this world, they were reborn there, that kind of learning is found in me too. So they have that understanding of the Dharma. The charity that those devas are endowed with, because of which when they pass away from this world, they were reborn there, that kind of charity is found in me too. So also I've been practicing generosity. And then finally, the wisdom that the devas are endowed with, of which when they pass away from this world, they were reborn there. That kind of wisdom is found in me too. Of course, in the case of the stream winner, his wisdom is much deeper than the devas, right? But the devas do have a sense of impermanence. So, Mahānāma, when the noble disciple recollects his own faith, moral virtue, and learning, and charity and wisdom, those are the devas. Thus, his mind is not obsessed with lust, not obsessed by hate, not obsessed by delusion. So his mind goes straight, and he is inspired. He has inspired knowledge, and joy arises. His mind focuses easily and becomes concentrated. And he's the kind of person who is said to have entered the stream by this cultivation of the deities. Yeah, enter the Dharma stream, in other words. Okay. Further down, yeah. So Mahānāma, a noble disciple who has attained the fruit and understood the teaching, continues dwells in this way. So there you are. These are the 6 recollections. You can choose whichever one suitable for you to help in your meditation when you face difficulties. Of course, if your breath meditation, loving kindness, doing well, you find this even easier to do. But if you have difficulty with the breath meditation or loving kindness, then you can anytime switch to any of this to help you gain that focus and then go back to that main practice that you are doing. Okay, we'll end here, and question time now. We have about 10 minutes, I think.
Okay, thank you, Piya, for the teaching. Now, Sister Isim, please take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Rana and Brother Piya, for the teaching.
Mm.
Good evening, everyone. Let me read out the first question from Sister Huili. Is Dhammanusari and Sadanusari also considered Chula Sotapanna?
Oh, that's a very technical question. This idea of a Chula Sotapanna, I think it started with Buddha Bosha. Chula Sotapanna basically means stream winner to be. Stream winner to be. The idea is to encourage more people to feel joyful in their practice. Frankly, I'm not so sure exactly what Buddha Gosha means by Chula Sotapanna, because either you're Sotapanna or you're not. So one way to interpret this is that if you regularly reflect on impermanence, according to any of the 10 suttas of chapter 25 of the Samyutta, you become a Chula Sotapanna. In other words, you're not yet Sotapanna, but you're on the way to become that, because the Buddha guarantees and says you're sure to attain stream winning in this life itself, if not at the very last moments of life, I suppose because of that guarantee, Buddhaghosa was kind of, certain that you can use the term Chula Sotapanna. Sadanusari refers to a practitioner who gains the path through faith, right? So that is a different, I mean, it's a technical term, whereas here, these 6 practices are a list you can choose. You don't have to practice everything. For us, we don't have to practice everything. But the stream winner, of course, because of his great faith, because of his attainment, he's able to practice any of them if he wants to. Yeah, because he's of that kind of nature. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Brother Piya.
Next question. Yeah.
Yeah, the next question from Sister Huilin. Why the recollection of moral virtues needs to have so many categories, as being unbroken, untorn, unmixed, spotless, liberating, praised by the wise, untarnished, giving rise to concentration?
Those are simply to show the importance of moral virtue at different levels. Let me see where I'm looking at the passage. That's not in the book. After the sangha, right? Okay. Okay, unbroken, untorn. This is the simile of the cloth. The Buddha uses the simile of the cloth. The 4 words, unbroken, untorn, unmixed, spotless, often refers to the rules of the Vinaya also. Unbroken, untorn, in other words, it's like a piece of cloth. The cloth is complete. The cloth is not broken, it's not torn. So that the precept is well kept. It's like a beautiful piece of cloth. Unmixed, spotless refers to the patches on a cow. So here, in other words, the Buddha is saying that this cow is beautifully all white. There is no mixture of color. It is spotless, right? So it basically is a beautiful kind of person who has this quality. So liberating expresses the mental aspect, and of course, people who are wise, they like such people who are virtuous, untarnished. That means the precept is pure. And the most important thing is the idea of keeping the precepts. It helps the mind to clear itself of distractions, and it can attain focus, concentration quickly. So the idea here is to remind us the importance of moral virtue. And remember, this is oral tradition. There were no notes at that time. Of course, we have notes. We say, wow, why so many words? No? But when you have this oral tradition, the Buddha is speaking orally, these words are important to hold the attention of the audience. So if they miss a few words, then they have others to hang on to, so they don't lose their attention. All right? Okay, any other?
Okay, thank you,
question?
Brother Piya.
Yes.
Yeah, another question from Sister Huilin. Striving towards Sotapanna path and fruition, not all 6 recollection need to be practiced. Am I right? Which one of the 6 recollection is mandatory to practice for Sotapanna?
Oh, no. It's the other way around, actually. Here, this Mahānāma is already a Sotapanna. So he asked the Buddha, what do I practice, as a Sotapanna, right? For us who are not Sotapannas, we can still practice this any of the 6 practices, but we select whatever we can. And unlike a Sotapanna, who is able to practice all 6. So that's one difference. So these practices do not make one a Sotapanna, strictly speaking. What makes a Sotapanna is a reflection of impermanence, for example. It is wisdom. So not all recollections and meditation bring wisdom. Okay, that's why they're called recollections, because it's like they help you along the journey for that part, but they don't bring you that wisdom which breath meditation brings. Okay? So even loving kindness meditation by itself will not bring you wisdom unless you apply vipassana into it, meaning you reflect on the impermanence of things. For example, you see that your loved ones are also impermanent, and then you reflect on that impermanence, and you see this impermanence everywhere, and then this wisdom arises in you. That brings Sotapanna, the state of a Sotapanna, right? Whereas the 6 recollections are the practices of the stream winner, the Sotapanna, which we also can select, which we are capable of practicing. Is that clear now? Okay.
Thank you, Father Piya. There's no question in the chat box at the moment.
Yeah, a couple of minutes
would
more.
like to ask. Yeah, you can ask.
Yes, still ask. When you have time, do read the introduction, the meaning of Anusati, and so on. Okay, let's take a family photo. Okay, so let us close this session. So the time. Right, so remember this, your participation in the study itself is part of it helps you in your recollection practice, right? So just recollect the fact that you are keeping the precepts, you have done some meditation, and you are listening to the Dharma, and so on. You're spending this peaceful moment together. And that is itself is a wonderful practice of renunciation. You sacrifice some time to just be at peace with yourself. That is itself a kind of internal renunciation. And we reflect on the Buddha as our teacher, and we are grateful we are able to still access his Dharma in all its purity, and we have the chance to become a noble disciple by practicing the recollection of the reflection on impermanence. So with those understanding in mind, we recite the closing salutation to the 3 jewels. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Sadhu,
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 sadhu.
sadhu.